This is Mike, and welcome to episode 209 of the EcomCrew podcast. It seems like just a day ago we were doing 200. It's crazy how quickly these numbers keep ticking off. We're going to end up with 210 episodes total by the time the year 2018 comes to a close, which is pretty cool. Going to hit the goal of doing 100 podcasts in 2019. Pretty darn neat. This week we have another Under the Hood to do. Been trying to get these out the door because we recorded a bunch of these earlier in the year, which makes it easy for me to get through the end of 2018 during the holidays here. We have Anthony on today who does some golf training products. He wanted to talk about pros and cons of growing a business around a patent pending product and a whole bunch of other stuff. Pretty cool story. Really glad that Anthony came and did this with us. If you guys want to be on your very own Under the Hood, you can go to ecomcrew.com/underthehood. All right, let's hop into this episode with Anthony, and we'll see you on the other side of this introduction.
Welcome to the EcomCrew podcast, hosted by Mike Jackness and Dave Bryant, who together run e-commerce businesses that generate 8 figures annually. Mike and Dave take pride in running a podcast that isn't just fluff, talking about specific products, problems, and real-world solutions. In the words of one of our favorite reviews, this podcast is like a playbook for e-commerce. You can take any episode and spend the next month trying to implement it. So without further ado, here's the EcomCrew.
Hey, Anthony, welcome to the EcomCrew podcast.
Hi, Mike. Good to be with you.
Definitely good to have you, and we just had a couple hiccups here. We don't have that happen very often. Usually we do these in one take, but I can't talk today, evidently. I'm still getting over this cold, and I feel like my tongue's twice the size that it usually is, so Thanks for sticking with me.
No worries, mate.
So, Anthony, you hail from Australia, which is always cool to get someone that you're talking to that's a day in the future from you, which is always cool. I've been dealing with that a lot now that I've been dealing with China and a lot of the Asian countries, so I'm pretty used to that. But the reason Anthony's here with us today is for one of our Under the Hood calls, which I love doing. It's so cool, like talking to other EcomCrew listeners and just finding out about their businesses and how we can help potentially make their business better. So that's what we're doing today. And what we do with Under the Hood, you get 1 hour of free consulting from us. We talk about whatever things you have in your business and try to have you leave with something that's valuable. And if you're interested in being on your very own Under the Hood, you can go to ecomcrew.com/underthehood to sign up for that. So if anyone's listened to these in the past, you know my very favorite question to ask first, Anthony, is how did you get into e-commerce?
I pretty easily define my sort of online career into 3 phases. E-commerce started after reading Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek in about 2008. I knew nothing about. I don't think I owned a computer when I read the book, and then I bought one. So I got into that. Spent way too much money on I actually sold mosquito nets for online travelers. For people looking for mosquito nets online for traveling. I bought a lot of nets and shipped them over to the States and used shipwire.com back then. They've been acquired since. They're sort of everywhere now under there's a bigger company that acquired them. We had sort of products in a couple of American cities, Canada and London, but you just all paid for the one, whatever space you had. You could have sort of only 2 pallets in 6 warehouses, but it was a really good system back then, and they've obviously done really well since. So mosquito nets are line, but I stuffed up the size of the market, the size of the sales that I thought I was going to get, just with a couple of couple of errors. So I thought I had sort of 3 more times the sales that I got from the start. From that, I sort of got better, but you get thrown in the deep end, and you just have to work out how can I sell more. Bundling your products instead of buying one for $60, buy 3 for 90. Get better pictures, get a customer testimonial page. Had sort of cool photos coming in from people using their nets in Kenya and Mozambique, and there's elephants in the background, so it was pretty cool. But yeah, I did burn through a lot of money because it wasn't quite right. But I learned a bit about sort of e-commerce and shipping products and stuff. But it wasn't a massive success in terms of coming out of it with heaps of profit, but a good learning experience.
Yeah.
From there, from there, I just went into with not much money. I had to go. I just turned to what I knew, which was golf, and without any money, I did the email marketing, drive people to a landing page, build a big email list, produce your own products and/or sell affiliate products, and that's what I did there from 2011, 12 to 2016. Probably pretty slow, and I probably sacrifice opportunity, that opportunity cost, just doing things sort of over time, because I think I was very passionate about golf and I kept playing at a high level, so I could so that passion sort of fed into writing about what I was doing and helping people. Maybe not as maybe a sort of a cutthroat entrepreneur would sort of think, oh shit, where's all the money? Whereas I was sort of pursuing sort of a passion plus sort of the business side of it, but again, good start. I mean, that was more profitable over a few years. I probably made sort of 130 grand in revenue and about half of that in profit, and then built an email list and went through the process of making products and developing them with all the video content and all that sort of stuff. So that one, not much money to get going, but sort of in a couple of years there, I sort of I was paying for me, so that was all right. So those two businesses have now culminated in the third, which is back to the e-commerce, but this time with a golf product. So you can see the mingling of the two, and I'm leveraging my that second business, the online golf digital products. I'm using that email list I still have, and I still communicate with every month or so for a sale. So I still have, I've got a couple thousand buyers and another 10,000 others that I can launch my current product, which is a new golf training aid too. So I've launched that and I've got some early sales, which is it's such an asset to have that email list. Even not sort of working it much the last year or so, you can still go back to them and you can still put out content and you can still get sales whenever you want, really, whenever you want to put in the time to write a few emails. So that's about the state of play.
Cool. And so two things I was taking notes here, two things I want to mention. First off, the first thing is just a statement, just to kind of reiterate to the entire audience something that I've been preaching quite a lot on the podcast, which is that email list sounds like it's been a whole heck of a good asset for you. And, something I've talked a lot about, like having an email list to launch products can be just a huge leg up. So I just wanted to reiterate something you said there just to reinforce it. But the other thing I want to ask is a question. I'm just kind of curious. When you were selling in 2008, what platform were you selling on? Because I don't believe that Shopify existed. I think maybe like Yahoo Stores was around, or was it something that was customized? Or
yeah, I think the site's up. You can go and check it out. It's pretty dirty. It's mosquitonetsonline.com, and it is, mate. I knew nothing about online, so I hired a guy from Elance back in the day, a guy from India. I think I paid him about $500. And you got to sign up. So there was a PayPal button, so there's a site, PayPal button. I got the orders, and then I just cut and paste into Shipwire. You could probably have somehow got that working automatically, like you do so with Amazon FBA now. So it's sort of like it becomes a bit like the digital products that I have, where it's sort of automatic, to fill without you copying and pasting, like I did yesterday actually for an eBay sale. I just started on eBay. So it's just pretty raw. Go to the site, PayPal button.
Very cool. Yeah, it's neat to see that you were doing that stuff way back in the day with a very different technology stack than you have in 2018, 10 years later. So very cool. So now that we kind of got a background on you, and so to summarize, it sounds like you were selling a product online that you didn't necessarily have that much of an interest in, but you wanted to sell something online, which were the mosquito nets, and realized that wasn't something for you, and then got into more of a blog concept because that's something you have a personal passion in, and did that for a while, and it generates some revenue. And now that you've gotten some traction with that over several years, you've kind of got the e-commerce bug again, and you have a new product that you've released that has some intellectual property base to it. It sounds like you mentioned the word patent, which is great. So I don't know how much you want to tell people about what the product is and why you're able to make a patent and why it's unique.
I played professional golf early on and kept playing, so I know how to play the game. And I just I could sort of see how they could just make it like what you're doing if you get a product on, like you teach and everyone teaches. I didn't want to just sort of get something and that is just a commodity, and then you just sort of put in an extra, widget and try and sort of make that work. I wanted to sort of, get something a little bit unique. So, but having said that, I'm using something that comes from a factory. The factory's all set up. I just got this product and I've just made it better in 2 or 3 ways that make it a lot better. If you go to that site, my site is slotdeckgolf.com. You'll see the original, and the original's copycatted out there. They've sold everywhere. It comes out of the same factory. There's a brand name who made that work. They were getting the 20 sales a day on Amazon, and then there's copycats come out of the original factory. The brand name now produces it in the States,
right?
But I still know that the factory still produces 500 a month units, and they're being used by copycatters. The product's fine. It's just that if you look at mine and theirs, mine's got what you can do with the first product plus 2 or 3 things. It's like basically you can use irons only in the first product. Now with my one, you can irons and woods, and there's a couple of different. And there's, in terms of the design, to get that done, there's a few different. I had to change the shape of the trainer a bit, and then add obviously there's 4 poles that you swing through the slot to hit the ball, and if you hit either pole, it means you're coming too far from the inside or the outside in your golf swing. The path is too much left or right. So I've had to add sort of different angle poles for the driver, but there's a driver and the longer clubs are on a flatter plane. They might be at 45, 50 degrees, whereas the 7-iron might be at 62. So I've added a few holes and changed the shape, and not getting too much into the writing a patent, which I did as well, a provisional patent application. I've filed that in all the golf playing nations, and I've got a number for around the world. So I'm pretty much covered. If I go out and make it, if I can sell this thing, I'm pretty much covered from the copycatters. And if I have the perception of being copied, I obviously haven't got a patent. And if I want to go to another company to sort of use a existing distribution channel, a platform that a company that's doing well, golf company that's doing well, might want to take on. So that's about where we're at.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. So with that background in mind, let's kind of turn the tables and let you ask some questions that you might have and things that we can do to maybe help you out here. Yeah.
Okay. So we've got the products. We've got the products in. I'm judging this business. The products based on that, data from Jungle Scout, and a year's passed since then, so that has changed a bit. A few copycatters came in and they whittled that price down, competing with the brand name, because they're pretty much selling the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just adding a little bit instead of the 4 basic poles you need to use the trainer. One merchant added another 2, so an extra one. So so obviously people gravitate towards that, and they brought the price down to sort of $60, $65. And I could see that Amazon, and this is the other thing. The other thing that's a big point is Amazon sell the product, not the brand. So it's Amazon.com.
Right.
the brand. So,
that could just mean that they're in Vendor Central or something, though. It doesn't necessarily mean that that it's Amazon necessarily competing directly in that space.
no, it's not. Okay, yeah. So it's got the brand, and then it says ship. What does it say on the side there?
Shipped and sold by Amazon, but that could just mean that the brand is selling to Amazon through Vendor Central, and it's not necessarily Amazon directly buying it, like them going, because like they have a different team that goes out and buys it, and that you can't differentiate that. But
right.
But yeah, I mean, it sounds like it could be a bit of a problem, but
so I don't have brand registry on Amazon, so that's a bit annoying. You can only have sort of 5-6 photos and a description and that. So that hopefully that will change a few things when that comes up. Do you have what do you say on that, mate? You go from sort of without brand registry to a product with brand registry, all things being equal, that would give you a bit of a bump, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely had a lot of success with enhanced brand content. Being in brand registry allows you to add video to your listing, and video content does incredibly well. So you lose one of the images that you have, but you get the video, which is pretty awesome. Without brand registry, you can do it by adding it as a short video, but it's not nearly as impactful because a lot of people don't know to look down there for that. Versus it being at the very top and being part of the main image gallery. And then in addition to that, you also get access to additional content down below, like more imagery and a couple templates. And it's definitely made a pretty big impact for us. I mean, we've seen, it's interesting, some listings it doesn't do as much as others, but overall it's been a very noticeable difference when we've added enhanced brand content.
Yeah, definitely. I think also I know my product. If I could compare it to the I've been sending all my lists to my website to then click through to Amazon. You can see it's such a stronger argument. I've got videos everywhere. I've got sort of pictures, us versus them, and even just doing it eBay. I'm just on eBay for the first time and I'm setting up and I'm going through the same process. I send my people there to buy some and get a few reviews and just seed that platform with a bit of feedback. But even there, you can put in I put in 10, 12 photos and I can put a sales page in there. It just sort of seems like I can use that sort of, that sales message better. So hopefully on Amazon we can do that. So yeah, I guess broadly speaking, Mike, there's those three things I'm dealing with at the moment. One is how do I make, to get the advertising cranked up on Amazon? Can I make it work? I mean, can I make it work against a brand name that's sort of I'm not having any luck in bidding on their keywords for their brand of the specific model. Amazon will send me no traffic, even if I'm going for like $4, $5 a click.
Right.
So that's hard. So I'm sort of left with the keywords of swing trainer, golf swing trainer. That's what it is. And I've actually did start advertising. I did have a couple sales the other day, about $85, which was good. And then sort of pitted out a bit, and I was spending, quite a bit. Sort of the ACOS was going right up, and the clicks were sort of up just under $2. So it's very hard to make that work if I want to be out of there to $15, let's say, for an ACOS. Really, if I'm selling an $80 product, Amazon take $20. It cost me $36 to make it and ship it and get it to the States in the warehouse. So anything more than sort of $15 is sort of it's not going to work. So that's the Amazon, that's the deal, making this work. And I don't know too much about the giveaways and promotions, because I'm sort of promoting to my people to get some reviews, and then I crank up the advertising. I don't know what other strategies there are there. That is the one, and just hustle and just make it grow over time, and with the brand registry, that'll help as well. I'm thinking. And then the other ideas is just because of the product, and I've got that it's solid, and it's got these patent pendings, and I can go either to a golf company that has a distribution, and I've researched a few on Amazon. They're sort of, probably the size of say your company, and they employ, quite a few people in America. So the sort of $6-10 million companies, and they got sort of hundreds of reviews, 5-star reviews. They're doing a really good job on Amazon. Maybe to go with them, or to actually go straight to the brand name who sort of copied but improved upon their product. And hey, I said, hey guys, this is it, and this is make your product much better. It's all ready to go. There's and sort of use their distribution, because they're on Amazon, obviously. That now it's down to about 12 a day sales, but they've also got their website, and they've got hundreds of players, PGA Tour pros, that are endorsing their products. Their other training aids, not so much my one, but my style of product. But so they distribute through a lot of I think retailers, and they have a wholesale part of their website we can buy. So they do a lot of wholesale. I know I've been in the back end there and sort of checking out how much a certain product is if you buy 30 of that, or 50 or 100. And so they're in with the pros, the pro golfers, and then those pro golfers sort of use it in their training, and they also sell them to their golfers. So that's something that's not, I can't do that online from Australia, and I don't have all those connections. So they have that stuff sort of set up, and if they can agree that, yeah, this is a better product, and they can sort of maybe supersede their other one, or add it as a little higher value product, that's got to be they've got the brand and distribution. They've got the sort of the patent pending products, pretty reasonable opportunity there, maybe. So there's grow Amazon, or go with these other companies that have distributions happening.
So I think, to kind of answer that question, the first thing you do is ask yourself that question, right? Are you more interested in being the entrepreneur that takes a brand all the way yourself, or would you like to be in the back seat, let someone else deal with most of that and just collect the check?
I think perhaps you could, maybe do both.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough to do both. I think the reason being is, like, in the early going, it might seem like a good idea, because you have this wide open lane to do what you want to do, and then you hand off the other part to them. But as you continue to grow, at some point your interests cross over. You might want to start getting in it as you get a bigger company with the brand that you're building. You want to get into distribution, but you would be locked out from that. You're going to be competing against another brand that's out there in the marketplace with a different name that's really your technology. So you could definitely do it. I mean, there's definitely no question, but I would think that you'd be better off in the long run picking one or the other, and not trying to do both. Because, again, I mean, I look at the life cycle. Like, let's just say, like, you're doing this on your own. This new product, it's a patented product. It's a training product. You're going to start out small. Like, you're going to start out by just running some Facebook ads and having that go to your website, and maybe you expand the web to Amazon or vice versa in that regard. But the next natural step is retail, and then and those types of things for that product as it gets bigger. And you're kind of locking yourself out from doing that, because most of these licensing agreements would preclude you from being able to compete against them in that channel, I would think. And so at some point you probably would regret it. And I think that you're probably better off going the licensing route, where you just say, hey, like, you guys go off and make this product and pay me the royalty, and you now can go off and do something else with your life that isn't going to eventually end up in a conflict of interest situation. Or be like, you know what, like, I want to do this on my own. Like, I'm at a point where, in my career, I have some e-commerce experience. I have this leg up with my golf blog. This is a product that I really know and I really have a lot of passion in, and I want to make this like the next 8-figure product, just this one SKU. And if you think that it has the potential to do that, you're probably better off playing that long run game yourself, in my opinion, if that's what you want to do. And then I think it's one or the other. I think that eventually by trying to have your cake and eat it too, that usually doesn't work out real well in most aspects of life. One of the other things I would be thinking about, like when trying to decide which way to go here, I mean, it sounds like you have like the technical chops to do this, right? You've done it before. You know how to do e-commerce. You know how to do Google ads, Facebook ads, get the thing listed on Amazon. One of the things I'd be thinking about though is the cash that this takes and like the journey that you're potentially about to embark on of the stress of trying to create an 8-figure brand out of one SKU. I mean, you're going to be constantly up against like, I don't have enough money to fill orders or to continue to grow at the pace that I want. And that's probably one of the things that really is awesome about licensing, because you're working with a company that's on a scale that we just can't even comprehend, where they basically have a bottomless pit of money when it comes to funding orders and producing inventory. They already have the logistics in place.
And I guess also, let's say where does the money go from? Let's say I'm selling and I go okay, and I'm making a $25 profit per unit. From an $85 product, you got your advertising and the physical costs there. $25, even 30, let's say. I'm doing really well, 25, 30. And on the other side, you go with the brand and you license your product out. And let's say you're doing $10 per unit, because obviously they're taking a cake in there and they got all others into it. But I guess with that, what I'm paying for, and the difference between 25 and 10 is I'm paying for all their advertising people. I'm paying for, all their relationships, the 20 years. I'm paying for all that sort of stuff, and I'm sort of outsourcing. So I've got like a team in a way. My money's paying for that, as opposed to going my own route and potentially getting a higher margin. But then I have to create that sort of, all those extra bits that I have to add to my team.
Yeah.
So I guess you're buying a team, aren't you, really, in that licensing? You're buying a team with that less profit per unit.
And I think you're dead on with that. You're definitely buying that. I would say and I'm not trying to sway you one way or the other here, by the way. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate through this stuff and let you think through some of these things. So I would say the other thing you're buying for that money is an insurance policy, because now you don't have a bunch of money tied up in inventory. So someone else is taking on that burden. You're not having to take risk of dealing with cash flow and lending. A big issue right now is that's especially in the United States, the sales tax, like having to deal with the infrastructure of how the hell to deal with all that. That's someone else's problem. Logistics, and then just having to deal with the manufacturing and constantly being there, every step of the way with QC, with getting the stuff in a container, with quality fade, and all these different types of things that inevitably happen through manufacturing. I mean, and I think that you're buying, another thing you're paying for is freedom. Like, I mean, it's hard to visualize. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to visualize that now, because like you're at this stage of, should I do this or not? But as someone that's been doing e-commerce for 5 years, and I'm having to live, breathe, and eat, drink, and sleep e-commerce 24/7. Someone else was running this entire thing, and all I had to do was, get off my butt and stop drinking my pina colada for a minute to go pick up the check out of the mailbox. That's a totally different world, right?
Yeah, that's right. And also, look at your life circumstances. I've sort of those businesses that I ran. They had promise there, and we made the automated sales that came from automated follow-ups, and it's a beautiful thing that this is the online golf business. The e-commerce one before that was, I made mistakes, so I haven't really got that home run. This one. Maybe they might pay, instead of maybe working my ass off and making 150, 200 grand profit a year in a couple of years time, I might, set something up with them, and they might pay me 50 grand a year.
Right.
And that, for nothing. And then with that 50, because that 50 is it's a passive income stream. You'd have to make, you'd need I don't know, $1 million or $2 million to get that $50,000 a year, wouldn't you? At interest, 5 or 7% or whatever. So then you've got your 50, and then you can go off and do whatever. I can go do my golf website and still, run ads to that and do whatever, and
exactly
make a similar amount. Working out a few hours a day, golf, traveling, all that sort of stuff. So,
one thing you haven't mentioned here yet, though, and the reason that I kind of like this path for you over someone like me better, because I'm the guy that would go make the store and do it all myself because I love that and thrive on that. But the thing that you have over me in this case, you have a personal interest and passion in golf, so you're into something that you just know inside and out, that leads you to a place where you could create another item that you can patent, and you could do this same thing over again. So maybe the thing that you're good at is embedding these items that you can get IP protection on. Yeah,
and I don't think it's. I think people. It's not like I'm some uber creative, hippie inventor type. It's not. It's just that that's what I know.
Right.
I had I actually did a professional golf traineeship, a 3-year thing, and I was 4 games away. I had to pay 40 games per year. You play every Monday. This is back in the mid to late 90s. You work 40 hours a week in the shop. You do some exams. You run the composite, the golf trip, how traineeship works, apprenticeship. And I was 4 games away, and I got sick I was right on the average. I got sick, glandular fever they call it here. You're down for a couple of months with no energy. And so I failed that year, and then I went away traveling, came back, and then I didn't pass my repeat year, and then so I'm not a PGA member. And then from that, I've sort of stayed in the personal training, and then still playing and actually improving my game better than what I was, and now I'm even more better. But so that's all I know. That's what I know. I ran that golf website that's had I've got, you go to the customer success stories page there, and there's people that that done really well. And I sort of played and I reported on what I'd do, and then that would help them with their games, and I'd sort of send out these 15, 20, 30 emails, like autoresponders after the purchase, like with tips. And so this is sort of it's an asset there. So what I'm saying is I know that game, so I could see getting back to the point. So I get off the point a bit, but getting back to that's my industry. It's what I know. We all know a few things about little subjects, and that's what I know. So I can sort of see something and work on it, and we can make it better there. So it's just what we all know about stuff. You just have to sort of maximize what you know about, isn't it? Sort of, and build that up with the business opportunity. Obviously, I think 5-6 years ago we wouldn't have been talking about licensing. I would have just gone for it myself, mate. My ego was too strong. Yeah. Whereas now I'm thinking, I'm over 40 years old, and I'm sort of, I think I see things a bit more balanced. I can see, I didn't go in to look for, I don't have wet dreams to think about this golf product. I didn't, when I found it, it was just, I went in there to Amazon looking for a business opportunity. And obviously I gravitate towards what I know, what I have knowledge on, to make it, half interesting. And that's what I sort of maxed out, that's what I sort of, I went with.
But you're in a unique situation because you're not quite the PGA level member, and that guy's not going to be playing in this space because they're focused on their PGA career. But there's that book Outliers that talks about having doing 10,000 hours and something to become an expert, to become good at it, and you've done that. And so there's very few people that have done that in golf, recreationally. So you're in this lane where you probably have more expertise in it than you realize, and you've been able to create something here because you're just so connected to this thing that and I think you could probably repeat that. The reality is that, if you spent the next year focusing on that next thing that you can patent, get the IP, develop another widget that doubles your footprint, you're probably going to be better at that than trying to conquer the 30 disciplines that you need for e-commerce, plus come up with all the cash that's going to be necessary to fuel that.
That's right. And buying, like I said, we're buying I'm buying a team with the cut in the margin that I give up.
Yeah.
I'm buying a team. So I'm doing it myself, I'm just sort of doing it and go hard. And you sort of, you've got skills in sort of a broad cross section, and I can do a bit of PPC, and I'm, probably best at sort of the sales and the copywriting, because I've got the passion for the product and I know the product. It gets back to what you know. If you know your subject, your copy is going to be fine. It's going to be good. Your emotion and you look at my videos, and the videos are solid because I know what I'm talking about, even though I am a nerd a bit, but the content is, hey, this guy knows he's doing it. So yeah, I guess you're buying that, you're buying that team. But yeah, look, I was researching this brand because we were thinking about this aspect, the licensing. I was researching that brand, and the guy that sort of come up with this product, he didn't patent that because this concept was around a few years ago, but it wasn't marketed and packaged up as well as they've done. It's a very light product. They've done it really well. But that guy that runs that is in sales, I think, maybe IBM or Microsoft, but probably similar to me, and he's golf sort of nearly sort of tour level type guy, and they've got 30 products there, and I was reading up on him. He's invented them all, if not, he sort of made them there. So he's taken that sort of that point that you raised, that where my niche might be is getting the products and making a really good building better features into the product to distinguish it, and then linking up with your distribution, like a company that's doing it, it's in the space, or a gun marketers like yourself or something, to sort of take it and go with it, and support them maybe with new video content of me using the product and me talking about the product or something like that. But yeah, that's if you look at it in a me as a micro, him as, and that's what he's done it in a bigger scale, and I guess he's been doing it for 20 years. So that's the route he's taken.
Yeah, and I mean, if you think about like how long it's taking you to become like that expert in golf, think about like having to invest the same number of hours into e-commerce now, trying to like get over, because I have, so I can look at it from that perspective of, yeah. So for me, it's, that stuff comes naturally, but I could never make the product that you had. And very few products are licensable like this. And you have to have that, intellectual property component to be able to do that. Because if it was a product that is from Alibaba and you tried to go take it to a company to do this, what they would laugh at you, because they could just go do it themselves and cut you out. But like you happen to be in a situation because of the intellectual property where they need you just as much as you want them, and then you can it's very rare that I would say someone to go this route, but I think that just my hunch, just based on what would bring in the most dollars for you with the least amount of aggravation over the next few years, that could be a better way for you to go.
Yeah, no, I think that's the way I'm firming, and then and then we can sort of, with a bit of, I'm going to think a fair bit of the next few days and read this stuff by licensing gurus, and because I'm reasonably good at negotiations and sort of getting the most out of, but also sort of you got to look at it at their point of view as well, working out what is in it for them, what's in it for them, how are they going to win, go through the numbers. I know there's 500 of these copycats being sold by this other company. They're doing Amazon, they're doing 400 a month, let's say, and then they've got their website. They might be doing a few hundred, and there's retail. So there's 1,000 or 1,500 sales there floating around with one product. So we can sort of you can work out the existing customer base. I know through launching my products and launching the same updated products, you can sell the same thing or an upgraded version to your existing customer base, and they will buy if you give them the right offer. Add in extra bonuses and a lower price if they've purchased before. So set it up for what's in it for them. How are their sales going to increase in terms of it's a better product. It maybe tap into another market. I think like a better golfer as well, because of the way this product's set up. And yeah, just set it up so they're going to win. and then you obviously, setting up so you can do it right as well. So before I, go and sort of engage them.
Yep. Cool. So any other thoughts or concepts to run through or questions you might have about all this stuff?
To make the Amazon listing work better, I'm having a bit of trouble with the PPC, those keywords that the brand name's sort of known for. I've actually, what I did this morning is actually put that into my title in Amazon. I see some of the copycatters have got it in there anyway, and it's all over eBay, and no one seems to be. The brand name, I think they got the brand name just for brand registry. I don't think they're out there enforcing it. And it's not sort of it's not super well known. But
I think the keywords are no pun intended here, key for you are going to be are going to be the things that describe the product. Like if someone didn't know the brand name, such and such a golfing aid or trainer or what, I don't know exactly what the product does, but golf training aid and I mean, these are, I'm looking at the searches now. I mean, these are relatively high search terms. I mean, 15,000 might not sound like a lot, but the conversion rate on Amazon could be like 40%. I mean, so you could sell a ton of, so I mean, I would be going after terms like golf swing trainer, golf swing training aid, making sure that those terms are in your back end keywords, making sure that that's in your title. I don't have the Amazon listing in front of me here, but doing things to illustrate how easy and simple it is to use this product, and making sure that one of the images says that this is the original patented version. Don't be fooled by gimmicks or knockoffs or whatever. Putting that thought in people's head, right? And because I would put that in one of the images. So it's like and just kind of making sure people fully understand why it's better as well. Like you said, you can use irons and woods. So making sure that that's one of the images. And if you were to show me your listing before we had this conversation, now I understand the product more. But if you were just to show me the listing and tell me like you got 30 seconds to look at this, then you have to close your computer and then read back to me or regurgitate back to me what the product does and why it's better. Like, does your listing accomplish that? Because that's about all the time that you get someone in your listing. It's like 30 seconds or less. So you got to be thinking about like, how can the imagery capture somebody that quickly, convince them that quickly? And if you don't feel like your imagery in your title, because people will read the title, but very rarely will they actually read the bullet points, does that get the job done? And if the answer is no, then you have room for improvement.
It's in terms of it's a bit soft only because of the Amazon terms of service. Like I can't, if you go to my website, then it's a bit harder. I put up the two in the comparison, and there's like a bullet points, yes, no. And you can sort of see it, but I don't think you can put that on. You can maybe do a light version in Amazon. But
we absolutely do that. We just put either the word other or competition. We make a table. So it's like, our version with our brand name and a table of like check, and then XXXX or whatever.
As an image, one of your images?
One of the images.
Just the images, yeah, right.
Just one of the images that are there. Not the main image. You can't do that with the main image, but you can do this with any of the secondary images, and it works. I mean, because for the products that we're selling, where and this is especially true in like with actually a lot of our products. Really, I was like trying to think of one of our brands over another, but like a lot of our products are better. I mean, that's what we do. That's like what we specialize is making them better in some way than the competition. So we want to like really highlight that. And if you do it with a chart where like you're checking off, 6 out of 7 things and the other brand only checks off 1, like you have irons and you check that off, but the other brand's an X, and then you do woods, but like the other brand does woods, so that's a check for them. And then you have like original patented design. Yours is a check, theirs is an X. You can just think of all the things. I mean, look at other brands that are out there. They're all pushing the envelope on this, and you want to make sure that your main image is on a white background. It uses up most of the space. That it's that's against. Yeah,
and
but you
push
can
it a little bit. And
exactly.
if they say something, say, okay, yeah, I'll pull it down.
I mean, the worst thing that they've ever done in this case with this is remove the image. Like they don't ever close the listing or suspend your account or anything for something like this. So,
What do you? Yeah. So what I got in that advertising, I advertised for a week or so. So I got the 2 sales, and that was only after about 30 clicks, 40 clicks, and I think that was nearly more exciting than getting 15, 20 sales to my people, because I thought, okay, that was in like one day as well. And then we had nothing for nothing. So I sort of I was on 110 spent for 2 products worth 170. So obviously that doesn't work. And the clicks were sort of up around, $1.80. So it's a lot. And then I just sort of, I chilled it back there for a couple of days. I'm trying to go in again with I changed putting the actual brand name in the product description, and just sort of rejigging the ad groups a bit. So, what do you on that volume, mate? What do you reckon about that? Sort of getting 50 clicks for $100. Is that expensive, or depends on your conversion rate, I guess?
yeah, I mean, 50 clicks for $100. That's easy math I can do on the fly. Here is $2 a click. That's on the higher end of what I've seen, but not astronomical. We don't really sell $100 products, so the click rate is going to be or the price per click is going to be a little bit higher for you. I mean, I would worry about the conversion rate. You're selling 1 in 50. That's really low conversion rate for Amazon. I mean, you're going to want to see at least 10% conversion to have a chance of competing. So, like, I think that something's just still fundamentally wrong with the listing, and you'd be surprised. We've talked about this before and under the hoods. It's interesting how often this comes up. We've got whole initiatives within our company, goals for a half a dozen employees that are working on nothing but this quarter after quarter, just improving iteratively improving listings, because you'd be surprised at how much of a difference this stuff can make. And it sounds like you haven't made a compelling enough story to make someone buy your $80 widget versus the competitor's $80 widget.
Yeah. And I think I could probably get a bit edgier on the photos, maybe take a few of the ones that are on the website. And I've got a video there that actually, it is us versus them. I sort of lead into it. I say, this is really good. It's a good product. It's been great reviews, but this is how we made it better. And it's cool, but it'd be just, I wish I could just put it on there.
You'll never be able to get that on Amazon. Like when you get brand registry even and you can add video, like the video can't be that. They want.
It's more of a inspirational bit of music, and
right. It's about your product. It has to be factual. It can't say that it's the best. It can't say that it's on sale, but you could talk about the features, the functionality, the fact that it has patents, the quality of it. Mention people love it or whatever. You can't I don't think you're allowed to mention the review ranking and things like this. There's certain things there's a whole list of things you're allowed and not allowed to do with those videos, and so you definitely would never get away with doing a us versus them video on Amazon.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, we'll see. I get and a few of the photos, and then like I said, with the brand registry, I think it's going to have a nice big page there that I can put some banners and more sort of pictures and stuff with. And
yeah, I mean, I think so Amazon's looking at conversion rate for everything. It's add to carts and conversion rates are the biggest reasons you rank. So I mean, if you are driving traffic to your listing and it's not converting, it becomes very difficult to get PPC to work, because they won't even show PPC ads in that environment, because they want to run. They rather show someone else's PPC ad at a lower cost per click, but then get the sale, because it's all about views to sale ratio and everything they do, and they want to show the most relevant stuff. So you're going to have a hard time even getting visibility without making some changes, even with PPC, no matter how much you bid. So I think that I would just take a step back and work on those fundamentals. And even though it might not seem like it's going to make that much of a difference, I can tell you from experience that it will.
Yeah, Yeah, I think so. It's a little light on volume as well in terms of clicks to get a real good, because you can make 2 or 3 sales in a lot of 50 clicks, and then you can make none in the next. You can make 3 in the one after. So if I only ran 100 clicks, and in that first 30, 40 clicks, I got a couple of sales. It took a while. They weren't sending much traffic. I didn't have much luck with the automatic setting. They sent me a few days, like 6 clicks, and then 9 clicks. I got 1 sale actually from one of those, but I was sending no volume. They weren't just sending them any. That was my first initial sort of campaign, and that's been running, but they just sent no volume. So I had to sort of get my, a whole lot of keywords on manual, put them in there. I've done some exact and some broad, and sort of got more traffic that way than then doing the automatic stuff in my situation.
Yeah, I mean, so I've had situations where I've even bid manually on a keyword and not been able to get traffic because it's not converting. So like that can definitely happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there we go. Maybe I just go to licensing, mate.
Like I said, the 10,000 hours of of knowledge and training to get to that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's a good point.
Cool. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna skip out of here. It's late on a Friday afternoon, and I like to go for a hike after work, so I'm gonna do that before the sun goes down because it's our last couple of days before daylight savings time. And that's a wrap, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed the 209th episode of the EcomCrew podcast. That's going to do it for this week. Just as a reminder, always you can go to ecomcrew.com/the episode number to get to the show notes. So this is 209, ecomcrew.com/209. I want to thank you guys, as always, for supporting the EcomCrew podcast. If you have a minute, head over to iTunes, leave us a review. We love reading those, even the 1-star ones. We love all the feedback we get. It makes us a better podcast. We read every single one of those and appreciate your comments. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode. And until the next one, happy selling, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to the EcomCrew podcast. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/EcomCrew for weekly live recordings of the EcomCrew podcast every Monday. And please do us a favor and leave an honest review on iTunes. It would really help us out. Again, thanks for listening. And until next week, happy selling.